All right, computer information systems. It is Friday, so we're going to kind of take a step back from some of these more advanced functions and advanced spreadsheets, and we're going to try to do something just kind of a little bit more simple and straightforward. I'm going to see if I can wrap this up in the first 15 minutes and not carry on to the next one. And then you guys can go on to your weekend. All right, so with this one, we are going to create a brand new spreadsheet. So I'm going to go into Excel, and this stuff is really simple for you. So I'm going to kind of move quickly to this beginning portion. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to give this a file name, and this is going to become our Excel activity 16. We've done 16 of these so far. Congratulations, good work so far on all of you who are participating. I'm going to put example at the end here. You should put your initials. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to do two different things. We're going to look at self-formatting and we're going to look at grouping. Okay, both are pretty simple things, but we're going to put some content on this brand new sheet. So I'm going to type this out quickly. You can always pause if you need to. So we're going to put on teacher schedule. In A1, we're going to put AY for academic year 2020 to 2021. I'm going to do semester 1 in A3. So that's A1, A2, and A3. In A4, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do block 1, block 2. And actually, if you want to get tricky, we can type that out or we can highlight and use our fill handle down, which will fill in my blocks 3 and 4. Semester 1, so S1 total students. Then I'm going to go with semester 2. We're going to go block 5. And again, let's see, I'll use my fill handle to do 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to go ahead and do S2 total students. And last, I'm going to do AY 2021 total. Okay, I'm actually going to add a word up here. I don't know, this is just me being neurotic, but anyways, we're going to call this roster. Okay, so make sure that you've got these. I've only gone through column A, so we got teacher schedule on down to AY 2021. Double check and make sure you have all of these things available or written down. Take up 15 rows here. We're also going to add a couple of numbers here. So for my roster for block 1, let's say I got 14 students, I've got 24 students, and 22 students. Block 4 is my planning block, so I'm going to put 0 down. For block 5, I'm going to say that's my planning block second semester, 21, 23, 23. Okay, so we just got a couple of, this is how many students I have for each block. All right. Underneath that, we're going to put our totals. So even though this looks like it's covered up by that text, this cell is still blank, B8. I can tell because in the formula bar, I have nothing in there, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and here I'm going to put in my AutoSum. I'm going to click on AutoSum to find the total number of students for semester 1. Tap Enter. So look at my function, equals sum, B4 to B7. Enter. Then I'm going to do the same here in B14. Again, my cell is empty even though it looks like it's filled up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on AutoSum again. Make sure that it's highlighting this area, B10 to B13. Enter. Okay, so I have my totals. And then last but not least, here in cell B15, I want the school year total. just as before, this is actually an empty cell, even though I see text there. Here, I'm going to put in my own formula, equals B8, which is my semester 1 total, plus B14, my semester 2's total, enter, which gives me my academic year 2020 total number of students that I have. Okay? So we have a formula here in B8, which is a sum function. We have one here in B14, which is a sum function. And we have one here, which is a simple formula, just addition between these two cells. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at applying some cell styles and show you what that's all about. It's pretty simple. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure none of my text is cut off here. So I'm going to do a little bit of this. I'm going to scooch out my my column so that I can see everything nice and clearly. All right, I don't have to do that in column B because I just have numbers. I'm going to do some merging here, and this is just kind of a stylistic thing, but I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to merge my teacher schedule, highlight A1 to B1, merge and center, and here I'm going to apply my first style. So while this is still selected, looking to the right, I'm going to see this button called Cell Styles. And sure enough, I have here, similar to in Microsoft Word, I have the title style. So I'm going to click on that. I have very quickly applied some style. Now I'm going to go to A2 and highlight through B2, merge and center those. I'm going to go back into my cell styles. Looking at what I have available, this is my my subtitle, so I'm going to do this kind of explanatory style. I think looks nice. I'm moving down to A3, highlighting to B3. I'm going to merge and center that. This, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the heading 1 style. Boom. All right. I'm going to skip on down to my total row. So this right here shows some totals between my semester 1 total students. I've told you this before in a previous assignment, but we always want that total row to stand out. So we always want to make sure that in some way, shape, or form, we're giving it a special look, all right, special formatting. So with this selected, now notice I'm not merging this time because I have 2 different cells, okay, so don't make that mistake. But I am still going to highlight those 2, do not merge and center, but instead we're going to skip straight over to the cell styles and we're going to do this total style. Okay, you see it bolds it, it adds this double underline. Okay, now we're going to go on to semester 2 and we're going to make all of this look the same as all of this. All right, so moving quickly, semester 2, I'm going to highlight A9 to B9 and I'm going to merge. Where is it? There we go. I'm going to give this the same style. Okay, remember that like when we're looking at heading 1, 2, 3, 4, a common misconception is that you're like counting your way down the page so that you would put this next heading as heading number 2. But these are not counting numbers, these are levels, okay? And semester 1 is on the same level as semester 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to apply that same heading 1 style to it, okay, so that they match, okay? I'm going to skip down to my total row, so I'm going to highlight that. This is an A14 to B14. I am not going to merge. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the total style. And finally, I'm going to go to A15 and B15, and this is also a total. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give that a total style as well. Cell style, total. This is a grand total, And I would like this to stand out a little bit more clearly as a grand total. So I'm going to apply just a very simple extra layer of formatting, which is just going to be kind of a background color that matches. I've got blues in here, so I'm going to go ahead and just give it a kind of a light blue accent color to make it stand out as just a little bit more important than these other totals. Okay? All right, so now I've applied some basic formatting here. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to break this information up into groups. All right, so grouping is a good way to kind of for displaying information. What I'm going to do is make it so I can very quickly hide certain pieces of information. All right, to do this, we're going to go into the data tab, and I'm going to highlight rows 4 through 7, where I see block 1, 2, 3, and 4. Highlight those 4 rows, and here in the data tab, I'm going to click on group. You'll see that this little new kind of view shows up over here. I'll show you what that does in a second. I'm going to highlight from 10 to 13, so that's blocks 5 through 8, and group that. Finally, I'm going to add another layer of grouping, which is that I'm going to highlight semester 1, so this is rows 3 through 14, and I'm going to group that. Now, what grouping allows you to do is to quickly kind of simplify a view. So if I go over here and I see these minus signs, I can click on the minus and I can eliminate all that extra information and just show the total students for that semester. Click here, again I'm simplifying, so I'm just seeing my semester totals and my grand total. Or I can eliminate all of that and just show my year total for that teacher. Okay? We can click on the plus sign to expand those certain views. So if I just want to focus on semester 2, or I just want to focus on semester 1, I can display it that way. Clicking on these numbers up at the top can also snap you into different levels of detail. Okay, so that's what grouping does. If I wanted to ungroup, I could highlight, and I don't want you to do this. This is actually what I want to see as your final product. The styles applied, the merges done, the simple functions and formulas that we used, and I want to see your grouping layers. Okay, but just so we're complete on this, if I wanted to eliminate a group, I would re-highlight that area and click on group, and then I would no longer have that grouped. Okay, so that's how you would undo it. This is, very simple example. There are lots of reasons where you would want to use grouping. It's especially useful, like I said, when you're trying to display the information to an audience, or if you're just trying to simplify a very kind of complex set of information visually for yourself, even can be a good reason for it. Grouping only works when you have a spreadsheet that's set up in this way, where you have like these kind of repeated layers. And not all spreadsheets are like that. If we look at a previous assignment, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, you could maybe group this into like PowerPoint and Word and stuff like that. But even then, I feel like would fall short in this example because we're not necessarily adding students. You'd have to resort every time you wanted to regroup. So it doesn't work on this spreadsheet, okay? But it does definitely work on something right here where you have a very kind of concrete structure and you have this ability to kind of like open and close layers, okay? All right, I said I was gonna keep it under 15 minutes and I think that I accomplished that. You guys have a wonderful weekend. We will have some new assignments on Monday. You guys are doing a great job. Please keep it up and attend my Zoom hours while I'm at it. Make a quick plug. I've been doing it Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3:30, You can show up at the beginning, you can show up in the middle, but I'd like to see your faces. All right. Bye, guys.